If you are over 65, hear me when I say this: you are not finished. You are seasoned. You are rich in wisdom. You are not a chapter closed. You are the author holding the pen, still writing, still living, still becoming. This world may tell you that your time has passed, but I stand here to remind you that age is not a boundary. It is a badge. A badge earned through storms survived, hearts mended, and battles walked through with grace. Don't you dare let the noise of a youth-obsessed world quiet the beauty of your voice. You have danced with decades. Your laughter has echoed through time, and your tears have watered gardens others now stand in. That is power. That is legacy. Every wrinkle you wear is a poem. Every silver strand is a crown. You are not invisible. You are invaluable. Your presence is a reminder that strength does not always shout. Sometimes it sits quietly in a rocking chair and teaches through its stillness. You've loved and lost, tried and failed, hoped and soared. That journey is sacred. That journey deserves to be honored. Now is not the time to shrink. Now is the time to expand. Say the things you once tucked away. Do the things you once postponed. Wear the colors you thought were too bold. Be the fire you were too polite to be. Because wisdom is not meant to sit on a shelf. It is meant to ignite the rooms it enters. You have spent decades caring for others, raising, building, serving. Now, let your soul stretch out and dance in its fullness. Now, let your voice be music to your own ears. Age is not an ending, it's a new beginning filled with wisdom. Life has a rhythm, and those who reach the age of 65 and beyond are not nearing the finale. They are entering a deeper verse of the song. With each year, we shed illusions, and in their place, we gather truth. We move from rushing to reflecting, from proving to knowing. There is a kind of quiet power that arrives when the world's noise no longer sways your spirit. In youth, we chase identity. In age, we stand in it. The lessons once learned through fire and friction now live within the soul, ready to guide, heal, and teach. You are not less because time has passed. You are more because you have passed through time and come out wiser, kinder, and more rooted in yourself. There is a beauty in having lived, truly lived, through seasons of love and heartbreak, success and disappointment, laughter and loss. These experiences are not burdens to be hidden, but treasures to be shared. Wisdom does not grow in stillness. It grows in storms. The mistakes you made are not markers of failure. They are the very reason others will trust your voice when you speak. Because you've been there, you know. And when you know, you no longer need to shout to be heard. There is an authority in the way you walk into a room, even if no one announces your name. The beginning of this chapter means you don't have to chase the world's approval. You become the one who reminds the world what really matters. The world may try to convince you that aging is a slow fade into irrelevance, but the truth is that aging is a refining. The fire of life doesn't consume you. It purifies you. You don't have to rush anymore, because you've learned that stillness holds answers noise never could. You no longer need to be everything to everyone. You've discovered the sacredness of boundaries, the sweetness of silence, and the strength it takes to simply be. This beginning is not about doing more. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. The people around you may still be climbing mountains, but you are the mountain. You've already risen. There's something sacred about waking up and not needing to impress anyone. At this stage, your joy becomes simpler, your presence becomes fuller, and your soul becomes louder. This isn't the end. This is the unveiling. The truest parts of you no longer hide beneath responsibilities, fears, or insecurities. You begin to wear your authenticity like armor, not because you need to defend yourself, but because you've earned the right to be whole. There's power in choosing what brings you peace, in turning down the noise, and in listening to the voice within. That voice has always been there. Age just makes it easier to hear. What the world calls hold is really just fully formed. Your vision sharpens, not in your eyes, but in your soul. You see what matters. You know what lasts. You understand that legacy isn't found in awards or applause. It's found in kindness, in love, in the lives you've touched. Every conversation you have now carries more weight. Every embrace lasts a little longer. You give wisdom in glances, in gestures, in quiet words. And though your steps may slow, your impact deepens. Age has opened the door to a version of you that is both ancient and new, like a river that has seen many seasons and still flows with purpose. So when you find yourself at 65 or 75, 85, do not mourn the years gone by. Celebrate them. Let them become the soil from which your newest self grows. You are not finished. You are just beginning again. But this time, with your heart wide open and your soul fully awakened, every wrinkle and gray hair is a symbol of strength and legacy. These are not signs of decay, but evidence of a life deeply lived. They are the carvings of laughter, the echoes of late-night tears, the impressions of hard-won victories and silent endurance. Each line that graces your face is a chapter in your personal history, a record of who you've been, what you've seen, and how much you've grown. Society may try to sell youth as beauty, but real beauty is in the lines that reveal your truth. These lines do not diminish you, they elevate you. They remind the world that you've stood in storms and came out standing, wiser and more powerful than before. There is a quiet nobility in gray hair, a kind of silver crown you earn not by chance, but by surviving, by loving, by giving so much of yourself to others that time has touched you gently and honored you with its colors. Gray hair doesn't mean you are fading. It means you've lived enough to stop pretending. You no longer carry the weight of false appearances or shallow approval. You carry the richness of real experience, and that is something no one can take away from you. It's not just hair that's turned. It's a symbol of transition from noise to knowledge, from rush to rhythm, from proving to simply being. And that kind of transformation is sacred. Strength is not always loud, and legacy is not always grand. Sometimes strength is a woman who kept showing up for her children even when she was tired. Sometimes legacy is a man who spoke wisdom not in speeches, but in everyday gestures of grace. Your face holds that story. Your body tells it without words. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to continue walking in the truth of who you are. The world may celebrate the new, but it learns from the season. There is a reason why people turn to elders when they need guidance. Because your presence speaks volumes even in silence. You have already done the hard work of building a life, and now you become the foundation others lean on. Don't let anyone convince you that aging erases value. In fact, it deepens it. The beauty industry may try to cover your lines and your silver, but wisdom never asks to be hidden. Wisdom stands tall and looks life in the eye. You are not here to chase a youthful image. You are here to embody timeless truth. Your wrinkles are not imperfections. They are the soft signatures of time. Your gray is not dull. It is the shine of endurance. You have survived what others could not. You have stood when others might have fallen. You have forgiven, let go, and begun again more times than anyone will ever know. That is strength, and that is a legacy written into your being. Every wrinkle carries a memory. A smile held too long. A night spent worrying about someone you loved. A morning spent in silent hope. These are not just facial lines. They are love lines. And your gray hair is not a loss of color. It's the arrival of wisdom's light. The world needs more of that light. It needs people like you to remind us that beauty is not found in youth. It is found in character. And character is built in years, shaped by experiences, and crowned with grace. You don't need to seek worth. You are living proof that worth endures, even when everything else fades. So stand in your truth. Let the world see your lines. Let them see your silver. Let them see the journey written on your skin and the power that still pulses through your voice. Because you, just as you are, show us what it really means to live. Now is the time to expand, express, and live fully. Life does not narrow with age unless we let it. The world may try to whisper that your best days are behind you, but that is a lie spoken by those who have not yet tasted the richness of wisdom. You are not meant to shrink as you grow older. You are meant to take up more space, not with noise or ego, but with presence, with truth, with the fullness of who you've always been underneath the layers you once wore to fit in or keep the peace. There is nothing left to prove, only everything left to enjoy, explore, and embrace. This moment in your life is not the closing of a door. It is the opening of a window, wide and waiting for your breath to fill it with fresh air. Expression in this season is not about performance, it is about liberation. You have stories that ache to be told, emotions that deserve to be felt without apology, dreams that were once silenced but now rise with quiet courage. You are not too old to change, to laugh loudly, to wear the color that once felt too bold, or to dance without rhythm just because it feels good. You are free to be exactly who you are without editing or shrinking. You've earned that freedom through years of effort, endurance, and emotional labor. You no longer need permission to speak your mind or feel your feelings. The world will adjust to your truth or it won't. But either way, your truth is valid. Now is the time to create not for profit, but for passion. Sing because you love the sound of your own joy. Paint because the colors bring you peace. Write not to be published, but because your soul needs to speak. You are allowed to do things simply because they make your spirit feel alive. There is no expiration date on creativity, no deadline for becoming more of yourself. If anything, this is when your art becomes the most honest, because it no longer performs. It reveals. It doesn't ask for applause, it simply breathes. There is something powerful about doing something for the love of it, especially when you've lived long enough to know what love really is. Living fully now means saying yes to what nourishes you and no to what drains you. It means showing up for yourself, not as an afterthought, but as a priority. It means no longer waiting for the perfect moment, the right invitation, or someone else's approval. If your heart is calling, you answer. If your soul stirs, you follow. You no longer need to be the one who sacrifices every piece of yourself for others. You've done enough giving. Now you are allowed to receive, not because you owe anyone an explanation, but because you are worthy of rest, of joy, of peace, of full-bodied living. You are allowed to choose pleasure without guilt, solitude without shame, and boldness without fear. Now is also the time to connect more deeply, not just with others, but with yourself, to listen to the soft hum of your spirit and honor it, to nourish your body with kindness and treat your mind with care, to walk slower and notice more, to find wonder in the ordinary and magic in the routine. The rush of your younger years has faded, and what remains is space. Space for presence, space for gratitude, space for meaning. And in that space, you can live more fully than ever before, not because everything is perfect, but because you have finally accepted that you don't need perfect to feel whole. The life you have now is not a lesser life. It is a deeper one. A life where you no longer strive to be seen but to see. A life where you no longer chase after more but rest in what is. A life where you are not defined by what you do but by who you are becoming. Every single day, in your truth, your softness, and your rising joy. You still have the right to dream, grow, and begin again. No matter your age, your story is not finished. The world may not hand you invitations like it once did, but that does not mean the party is over. You are still alive, still breathing, and as long as your heart beats, so does your capacity to want, to reach, and to create. There is no expiration date on your dreams. They are not reserved for the young or the unwrinkled. They are for the willing, the brave, and the hopeful. Maybe your dreams have changed shape, softened at the edges, or found a quieter form, but they still belong to you, and they are still valid. If something stirs in your spirit, if something calls to you when the world is quiet, that is not nostalgia. That is a dream asking to be lived. Growth does not stop with the passing of time. In fact, it deepens. In youth, we grow outward, toward careers, achievements, recognition. In later years, we grow inward, toward peace, self-understanding, forgiveness, and meaning. Growth now looks like breaking old patterns that no longer serve you, releasing beliefs that were never truly yours, or finally saying yes to things you once believed were beyond your reach. It is never too late to learn a new skill, to start a new routine, to open your heart again. The soil of your life has been cultivated through decades of living, and it is rich with the lessons you've learned, the battles you've fought, and the grace you've gathered. What you plant now will bloom differently, perhaps more slowly, but also more beautifully. Beginning again is not failure. It is courage. It is the willingness to stand at the edge of your comfort zone and say, "There is still more in me." You don't need to start over in grand ways. Beginning again might be picking up a hobby you left behind, reconnecting with an old friend, traveling to a place that's lived in your imagination for years, or simply waking up and deciding to see yourself with fresh eyes. The truth is, you've begun again more times than you can count. After loss, after heartbreak, after disappointment, and each time you came back stronger. Starting something new now isn't reckless, it's wise. It means you trust yourself enough to believe that life still has gifts to offer, and that you are still worthy of receiving them. There is a quiet rebellion in dreaming at an age when the world expects you to settle. It is a form of self-love to say, "I am not done." It is a declaration that you are not just here to remember, but to create. You've earned the right to take up space, not just with your presence, but with your passion. And if your dreams look different than they once did, more rooted in purpose than ambition, more about joy than achievement, that's not a loss. That's evolution. Your soul knows what it needs, and it's okay if what you need now is softness, peace, freedom, or play. Your dreams don't need to be understood by others. They only need to be honored by you. You have grown through so much. You have risen after moments when you thought you would fall apart. That strength didn't disappear, it matured. And now, as you walk through this chapter, you walk with a kind of grace that cannot be taught, only earned. Let yourself begin again, not because you are empty, but because you are full of all the right things: experience, compassion, clarity, and desire. The world may not be watching as closely, but your spirit is. And your spirit is ready. It is ready for new color, new wonder, new life. Your presence is powerful, and your truth is needed. You do not have to be loud to be impactful, nor do you need a stage to matter. Just by being here, you carry energy that influences, supports, and uplifts others in ways you may never fully see. Your lived experiences, your silent battles, your wisdom earned through both joy and pain, they give you a presence that cannot be faked or imitated. In a world that constantly shifts, you are a grounding force. Your calm speaks louder than chaos, your perspective widens narrow minds, and your truth brings light to dark corners. You may not always be the loudest voice in the room, but when you speak, it carries weight because it comes from depth, not noise. The strength in your silence, the steadiness in your gaze, the kindness in your words, these are the quiet revolutions that change lives. There is something deeply healing about someone who has walked through years and still chooses love over bitterness, wisdom over pride, and grace over judgment. That is the kind of presence the world is desperate for. You are not just part of the background. You are part of the foundation. People are watching you, even if they don't say it. Younger generations look to you for unspoken guidance. Your presence reassures them that survival is possible, that dignity can be held through hardship, and that aging doesn't mean fading. It means deepening. Every space you enter is better because of the perspective you bring, the calm you offer, and the lived truth you carry. Do not doubt that simply being who you are is enough to shift the energy of a room. Your truth is not outdated. It is not irrelevant. It is needed now more than ever. In a world obsessed with speed, appearances, and trends, your truth is a reminder of what is real and lasting. You don't have to dress it up or sugarcoat it. You've lived too long to pretend. What you know now, the truths you've discovered in silence, in heartbreak, in healing, they are sacred. They deserve to be spoken, shared, and lived out. Your truth may not always align with popular opinions, but that does not diminish its value. Truth rooted in wisdom often arrives quietly, but it stays longer and digs deeper. The world may celebrate those who shout the loudest, but it learns the most from those who speak with clarity, with authenticity, and with love. Never underestimate how powerful it is to be someone who tells the truth with kindness. Your truth is not a weapon. It's a mirror, a light, a balm. You do not speak to divide, but to remind others of their own courage. their own worth, their own voice. When you live from a place of truth, you give permission for others to do the same. And that is how generations heal. Your presence lived honestly creates space for others to rise. You may not see the ripple, but it is there. The child who feels safer because you smiled, the friend who found hope because of something you said in passing, the stranger who rethinks their path because of your story. You are a quiet revolution, steady and strong. You don't need to change to fit into the world. The world needs to feel your presence exactly as you are. The wisdom you carry, the truth you live, and the grace you embody, they are medicine. They are light in places that forget how to shine. You don't have to shout your worth. You just have to stand in it. The right people will feel it, and even those who don't understand it will be moved by it. This world needs your presence. It needs your truth. It needs the way you live, the way you speak, the way you walk through life with courage and compassion. You are still the light, steady, deep, and beautifully radiant. Even if the world seems to move faster than it once did, even if others around you have changed, your light remains. It may not burn with the same intensity as youthful fire, but it glows with something far more powerful: wisdom, grace, and presence. You carry a light that has weathered storms, one that doesn't flicker in the face of adversity but stands tall, unwavering. That is a different kind of brilliance, the kind that doesn't seek attention, but naturally draws others in. You don't need to prove your light, because it is evident in how you love, how you listen, how you simply are. There is depth in the way you hold space for others, and a silent power in the calm you bring when you walk into a room. That is not just light. That is legacy. This radiance is not about perfection or youth. It is about truth. It is about the quiet confidence of someone who has faced life in all its shades and still chooses to shine. Your light doesn't demand to be seen. It reveals what is real. It shows up in the way you forgive even when you're not asked to, in the way you keep showing up for others, in the way you still believe in beauty, even after all the heartbreak. You are the kind of light that guides people back to themselves, not by preaching, but by living authentically. You are the steady flame that doesn't waver when the winds of change blow. You are the deep glow that offers warmth when others feel cold or forgotten. There is no dimming of your value with age, only a richer glow. The years have not lessened you. They have refined you. Just like a lantern that burns brighter in the night, you shine with a clarity that only comes from experience. You know what matters and what doesn't. You see through facades. You cherish what is lasting, and you let go of what is not. You are radiant not because the world says so, but because you have become a reflection of something greater than appearance. You are the light that comes from within. You are not seeking to be seen as bright. You simply are, and that quiet assurance is what makes you unforgettable. People often chase external light, validation, applause, achievement. But you are the proof that real light lives inside. It grows from resilience, from knowing how to stand alone, from learning how to carry joy and pain in the same breath. You are still the light because you've chosen not to harden your heart, because you continue to love, to give, to rise, and to dream. You are still the light because you didn't let the world make you bitter. You let it make you deeper. You let it soften you without breaking you. That is a rare kind of beauty, the kind that shines long after the spotlight fades. You are beautifully radiant because you reflect strength without needing to dominate. You lead without demanding. You inspire without forcing. Your light reminds others that growing older is not losing brilliance. It's becoming more refined, more rooted, more real. It's the shift from chasing to becoming, from noise to knowing. The kind of light you hold doesn't fade with time. It intensifies, it deepens. It softens in a way that feels like home to everyone who's lucky enough to be near you. Your light reminds us that there's grace in every line, wisdom in every pause, and magic in every moment fully lived.